Well, a disappointing tenure in Denver has come to an end. The man that a lot of people thought was going to change Denver's offense is now with an AFC North team. Of course, I'm talking about Jerry Jeudy. Welcome everybody to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jerry Jeudy, representing the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about the breaking news that just came out. According to reports including Adam Schefter, the Denver Broncos officially moving on from Jerry Jeudy after 4 seasons, trading him in the AFC to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. We don't know what exactly those pick numbers are going to be because the Browns had multiple 5th and 6th-round picks, so we don't know what exactly those picks are just yet, but we do know that it's a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. So Jerry Jeudy's time in Denver is done. I want to break down what this means, not just for the Broncos, but for the Browns, and why I think this is a genius trade on the part of the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns only have 5 picks. They have 54, 85. They're the only picks inside the first 4 rounds. They don't have a lot of picks. This trade, as good as it is for them, likely eliminates them from any possible trade-up scenario in any of the rounds because they don't have the ammo unless they want to have a 3-pick draft, which you don't want to do. Unless they trade down and get a boatload of picks, then they want to trade up. So you trade down in the 2nd round, trade down like 20 spots, get 3 other picks in the process on day 3. You could build that way. But for the most part, this eliminates them from any possible trade-up scenario. Here's the thing with Jerry Jeudy. I'm not saying that Jerry Jeudy is good by any means. He is not. A lot of potential, but he was not very good last season. Dropped a ton of passes, 54 catches, 758 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had that drop touchdown in that primetime game against the Vikings. He dropped 100 yards of passes against the Chargers, maybe even more than that. He was not good last season. The Broncos had to move on from him. It was a move that we all saw coming. Having said that, though, this is a no-lose situation for Cleveland. This is a no-lose situation for the Browns. This is a guy that is a former first-round pick who is 1 year removed from having 1,000 yards from scrimmage. So the man has upside. The man has potential. If it doesn't work out, all right, you gave up a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. What were you going to do with those picks anyway? Probably not a whole lot. The hit rate for a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick, not necessarily the best. But if this does work out, you've got your wide receiver of the future to pair alongside Amari Cooper. This is a high-potential trade. We saw the Browns do this with Elijah Moore. We saw them do it with Amari Cooper, where they trade some picks for a veteran wide receiver that they think has a lot left in the tank and think has potential. They gave the New York Jets a 2nd-round pick last year in exchange for Elijah Moore, and Moore had a career best year with Cleveland with 59 catches, 640 yards. That was a career best. On top of that, this move gives you leverage, because here's the thing. You probably won't be able to re-sign both Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore. The cap space for the Browns going forward is extremely tight. You only have $7.7 million in cap space for 2025 as it stands, because of the Watson contract, which is absolutely terrible, one of the worst contracts in NFL history. Having said that, though, it's still very early. You can restructure some deals, you can cut some guys, take on some dead cap, and not have some massive cap hits, but you will be cap struck in 2025 to some extent. But with Elijah Moore becoming a free agent next year and Jerry Jeudy becoming a free agent next year, you can at least probably sign one of them if you want to and not have a huge gap at wide receiver in 2025 automatically. This move impacts the Browns in terms of improving their wide receiving corps because it's a very thin unit. Amari Cooper, obviously great. He had maybe the best game by any receiver last season in that game against the Houston Texans where he just went off. That was an incredible game to watch. But outside of Cooper, you really don't have anyone. Right now on the roster, besides Cooper, you got 4 other guys. One of them being Elijah Moore, who's solid. I'll give you that. David Bell, 3rd-round pick from 2022 out of Purdue. He's been a bit of a disappointment thus far. 38 catches, 381 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 2 seasons. That's it. He only had 14 catches and 167 yards last year, and 2 of his touchdowns and 40% of his yardage came in that meaningless Week 18 game against the Cincinnati Bengals, where all the backups played because the Browns had locked up the 5 seed. The other 2 games he had to start in due to injuries, he had just 3 catches for 13 yards. Now, I will say this with Bell, he did play well in that playoff game against Houston, 8 catches, 54 yards, so maybe he can build off of that, but it is a question mark. You don't necessarily want to go in with that expectation. Cedric Tillman, your 3rd-round pick from 2023 out of Tennessee, 21 catches, 224 yards last season, never found the end zone. He did not play that well. Michael Woods, the other guy, 5 catches, 45 yards in 2 seasons. He is a non-factor. So outside of Cooper, it is super thin. A 1-2-3 combo of Cooper, Jeudy, and Moore is fine. There's two other things I want to talk about with this trade when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Number one, Jerry Jeudy loves Deshaun Watson. Jerry Jeudy loves Watson. I think this could be a very good thing for Jeudy because that chemistry is there. Back in 2021, Jerry Jeudy talked about Deshaun Watson. There was a possibility that maybe he could become the next quarterback of the Denver Broncos. And Jeudy said on this, it would be exciting to have Deshaun Watson. He's a great quarterback. Looking forward to his decision. Now, the fact that Jeudy said that about Deshaun Watson is kind of absurd when you consider the fact that he was on a team by that point. They had Drew Lock, and he basically just threw his quarterback under the bus saying, yeah, I would love to play with Deshaun Watson. That would be incredible. Are you kidding me? I would love to play with him. Let's upgrade at quarterback. That is a bit of a red flag, but at the same time, you know that Jeudy loves Watson. The other thing, the Browns can't possibly lose in this situation from a draft pick standpoint, because here's the thing. If Jeudy re-signs with you, great. He's your wide receiver 2 alongside Amari Cooper. If he doesn't re-sign with you, you're not signing any big-time free agents. If you're the Cleveland Browns, again, you're cap-struck. You're probably priced out of getting any big-time free agents for the 2025 season next year. And what that means is that any free agents you lose, if they are in the top 32 free agents in terms of salary, you get compensatory picks. The odds that Jerry Jeudy gets a top 32 salary if he leaves is pretty high, barring a catastrophic injury or barring a horrible campaign. I'm talking like 500 yards. He's going to get that. Look, the Jaguars got a compensatory pick for Arden Key. And Arden Key, he was solid, but he wasn't a world beater. Jerry Jeudy, again, a man removed from having over 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 2022. So even if you can't re-sign Jerry Jeudy, even if it doesn't work out that way, you're probably going to net in 2025 a 4th round or a 5th round compensatory pick. So you just get back what you lost initially in that trade with the Broncos. You just push the can down a year, but you get basically the same exact compensation that you gave up. That's why I think this move is genius on the part of Cleveland. Either Jerry Jeudy works out, he plays to his potential, he plays like the 1st round pick out of Alabama, he plays like he showed in Denver at times, not last season, but at times, and you have your wide receiver 2 alongside Amari Cooper, and you got a pretty solid receiving unit. Or it doesn't work out, and you gave up nothing, and you're probably going to get something in return from a compensatory standpoint in 2025. And again, it also gives you some leverage in terms of re-signing either him or Elijah Moore when the time comes in 2025. You don't exactly have to break the bank and wonder, okay, if I don't re-sign Elijah Moore, am I worried about not getting a receiver free agency? Because at least you have Jerry Jeudy now, and you can choose between one of the two. Which one do you think fits the offense better? Which one plays better under Deshaun Watson under a full season? We will see what happens there. But I think this move, look, the Broncos had to get rid of Jeudy. The time had come, cap hit-wise, and in terms of production, he had to move on. But I think for the Browns, this is a trade that makes a lot of sense. I think the Browns could benefit tremendously by getting Jerry Jeudy. If not in 2024, then in 2025 when they get the compensatory pick. But what are your thoughts on the Jerry Jeudy trade? What do you remember from his time with the Denver Broncos? How would you rate his time in Denver? Do you think this trade makes sense for the Broncos? Do you think it makes sense for the Browns? What are your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy playing with Deshaun Watson? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And that's going to do it for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, JaguarGamer9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jerry Gamer9 signing off. And as always, go Jags.